Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with Jakub Prohaska, an astrophysicist from Czech Republic, waking up on his spaceship, far away from Earth. He gets a call from his friend Peter, who works as a flight curator. The people of Earth want to communicate with Jakub, who has been on a solo space journey for 189 days. The head of the Czech space program, Commissioner Tuma, greets Jakub. For 4 years, Earth has been observing a mysterious cosmic phenomenon, called Chopper's Cloud, and Jakub was sent to Jupiter to study it. He will soon be able to collect samples to help understand it. During the conversation, a girl sympathizes with him, calling him the loneliest person in the universe. He reassures her that he doesn't feel lonely, because he has his wife, Lenka, who supports him through quantum communication, which is faster than light. There's a TV commercial break, where Jakub promotes sponsored products, but his tiredness becomes evident. On Earth, Lenka records a message, apologizing for leaving him, feeling she's not needed. Peter intercepts the message, and informs Commissioner Tuma. Later on the ship, Jakub fixes the toilet while complaining to Peter, who notices his fatigue and advises him to rest. Jakub becomes worried when his wife Lenka doesn't respond to his calls. He starts his training, while Commissioner Tuma reviews Lenka's message, but decides not to tell Jakub about it. Lenka meanwhile, packs her things without responding to Jakub's messages. Distressed, he tries to comfort himself with sweets, and struggles to sleep, as the malfunctioning toilet keeps him awake. At night, he sees strange movements under his skin, and tentacles emerging from his mouth, in a horrifying dream. The next day, he begins his routine, but is disturbed by thoughts of Lenka. He hears an unfamiliar voice offering help, but Peter hears nothing. Peter informs him that Lenka went to her mother's, and will contact him upon her return, calming him a bit. While inspecting compartments, Jakub encounters a large spider, but the broken camera prevents Peter from seeing it. Jakub encounters the spider again, but it surprisingly starts a conversation, claiming it meant no harm. Feeling uneasy, he locks himself in the airlock, and decides to decontaminate the ship. As he activates the system, memories of walking in fields with Lenka flood his mind. When the cleaning is done, he steps out, only to find the spider still there, unharmed by the disinfectant. It reveals itself as an explorer, who accidentally found Earth and studied it for years, but couldn't understand humans. Feeling his loneliness, it came to him. He tries to touch it, but it dodges, warning him not to, as it's not the custom in its tribe. It shares its inability to grasp the human essence. Frightened, he hides in the sleeping compartment, where he starts vividly seeing and hearing his wife. He finds himself face to face with Lenka once more, realizing that the spider is broadcasting his memories, in an attempt to understand human emotions better, and help him cope with his emotional struggles. Despite his initial reluctance, the spider persists in its efforts to assist him. Meanwhile on Earth, Lenka arrives at her mother's house, explaining that she's pregnant, and unable to be alone. Her mother struggles to comprehend why she would leave her husband at such a time. Lenka decides to stay at a nearby boarding house for pregnant women temporarily. Back on the station, Jakub shares some of his food with the spider, who reminisces about its destroyed home planet, and its long journey through space. Commissioner Tuma visits Lenka on Earth, emphasizing the uniqueness of Jakub's character, and his ability to endure solitude, but acknowledging her struggle with loneliness, especially given her pregnancy. The spider enlightens Jakub about Chopper's Cloud, suggesting that its particles contain wisdom. It shares memories of his first date with Lenka, highlighting their promises to always stand by each other, which now seem unfulfilled to him. Despite his confusion, he asks the spider to save some of the nut paste, a reminder of home. Meanwhile, Lenka confides in her mother about her readiness to raise her child alone, and her intentions to tell her daughter about her love for her father, despite their current circumstances. Suddenly, Jakub ponders about naming the spider, and suggests Hannes, inspired by an ancient master, who created astronomical clocks and was blinded by the king. The spider accepts the name. He shares music from an opera with Hannes, who reciprocates by recalling a humorous moment from his past, dressed as characters from a play. Though he hesitates to dwell on the memory, their bond grows stronger. At night, he suffers from nightmares involving his father's death, due to his communist beliefs, but Hannes comforts him, assuring him that the past doesn't define him. Later, it observes his exercises, puzzled by the necessity of leaving Earth. Meanwhile, Commissioner Tuma visits Lenka, attempting to connect with her emotions, but she refuses to dwell on the past. Tuma decides not to pass on her message, emphasizing their unity despite the physical distance. As the ship approaches Chopper's Cloud, Lenka's voice suddenly echoes through the station. Jakub rushes to the transmitter, and sees her face on the screen. They discuss their past and future, when he notices a glowing particle, which Hanus calls the beginning. He tries to capture it, but it passes through surfaces effortlessly. Suddenly, all communication is lost, and Chopra's particles fill the air. Hanus reassures him that the beginning won't harm him, but he is puzzled by Lenka's fear of their impending child. He explains to the spider their past loss of a child, and his absence during that time and now. It shows him a conversation where he promises to be there for Lenka, but failed to keep his word. When he finally reaches Peter on the quantum phone, Hanus reveals his selfishness, causing Jakub to panic. He tries to grab Hanus, but the spider pins him to the bulkhead, reminding him of their agreement to communicate without touch. Eventually, Hanus releases him, and flies to the other end of the station. Desperately, he chases after it, promising to change his ways. He hallucinates Lenka appearing as a nymph, reminiscing about their lives together, and shedding tears over realization of their loss. He contacts Peter, and asks him to visit Lenka, where he pours out his heart, begging for forgiveness for his past selfishness, and expressing his newfound understanding of what truly matters. Immediately after, Hanus urges Jakub to rest, indicating that he has atoned for his guilt. Afraid of being alone, he begs it to not leave him. The spider, revealing its fear of loneliness too, admits to being unwell, due to its body being overtaken by enemies from its destroyed planet. For the first time in a long while, it embraces him, who falls into a deep sleep. When he wakes, it insists there's a great discovery awaiting him, even bringing him hot coffee to kickstart his day. He informs the Czech Space Authority that his mission is dedicated to all humanity, especially Lenka. However, when Hanus falls severely ill, he abandons his task to help his friend. Despite Earth's commands to cancel the mission, he is fixated on Hanus, oblivious to the failing ship systems. Determined to save his friend, he ventures into space with a bomb, despite Peter's pleas for him to return. In a self-sacrificing act, he catches up with Hanus, holding onto him, as they face their inevitable fate. As they embrace, Jakub reminisces about his past, forgiving his father and himself. Together, they enter the heart of Chopra's cloud, where past, present and future converge. Lenka appears once more, and Jakub acknowledges their meeting as a miracle, reminiscent of his encounter with Hanus. He gives Hanus the saved nut paste, and as the spider disintegrates into particles, Lenka spots a glowing purple particle on Earth. In a surreal scene, Jakub floats through a transparent stream, with Lenka in a mermaid costume beckoning him. Just as he reaches out to kiss her, a South Korean ship rescues him. Later, he calls Lenka, and they talk again, coming to terms with their relationship. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.